Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Collaborators UNITE podcast. Chuck Anderson here, your host, and this is the show where we serve big impact experts. And that's you if you're on a mission to make a big impact or even a big positive impact in the lives of others, maybe even the community, maybe even the world. Depends on how big your vision is. Now, you might be new at this. You might have been doing this for a while. And regardless of how long it's been, sometimes on that road to make a bigger impact, it can feel like it's been a grind or that you're doing everything, or maybe even question, am I doing the right things? Am I really on the right path to make a big impact? And today's guest is someone who can really speak to that. She is a serial entrepreneur. She's got lots of things going on. She works with lots of great leaders and can help you with simplifying your systems, your strategy, whatever it is that can help you to make a bigger impact. So today, Lady Jen Du Plessis is with me here, and we're going to dive into this topic. So Jen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am delighted to be here. It's so fun because we've gotten to know each other through one-to-ones, and now we're just having this call, which is exciting.
Right. And I think yes, exactly. And I think it was very obvious after our first conversation that it's like, let's do this.
A lot of collaboration ahead. Yes.
Yeah. I'm very excited to share you with my audience because I feel, well, I'm grateful that we were able to connect in the way that we did. And I love the work that you're doing and just some amazing projects, but I think, one of the things too, and I was watching some YouTube videos and all of that kind of research for this episode, and you have quite experience when it comes to leadership and business building and strategy. And if we can put you in front of more people to learn some of your strategies, then I think that will help them more than anything. And so,
thank you.
So thanks for being here. Let me take a moment, tell everybody a little bit about you. What is it that you do, and what's the journey that led you there? And we'll start there.
Thank you. Yeah, and I love when this question is asked because it is something that I advise people on, is not to answer the question, tell us what you do, because that puts us right in a situation. I'm already coaching. Look at me. It puts us in a situation.
Perfect.
Right, where we're now starting to bullet what we do, and it makes us like a commodity. So if you're okay, I'm going to tell you who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Imagine that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, imagine that.
I hope everyone's really listening to what you're saying. This is very powerful already.
And of course, I'll tell you ultimately what I do. But who I am. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 43 years. We just celebrated our anniversary a couple of weeks ago. And I'm an avid boater. I am a competitive ballroom Latin and swing dancer. I am a competitive markswoman. And we have a winery. We have a few racehorses that are part of Churchill Downs. I love reading. I usually read 3 to 5 books a week. I'm a speed reader because I went to college to become a cardiologist, and I thought I'm going to need to read. So I took a speed reading, and I've just kept up with it all these years, and love consuming as much information as I can. And what else do I want to tell you? So it's that just kind of gives you some breadth of who I am. And then behind all of that is, and I'm a grandma too, but I'm called Dama, not grandma. But behind all of that is a young girl who is called Jenny, who ain't got a penny. By her family, my family. I'm one of 36 first cousins, and we all had nicknames. And that changed the trajectory of my entire life. It was a life that was set on proving that I wasn't going to be her, that I could be so much more. And so I overachieved everywhere, in high school and school and sports and everything. I just overachieved everywhere and took that obviously into business. And that overachievement put me in hustle, and that was my demise. And I'm sure a lot of people that are watching and listening, you might be in hustle too, right? Where you feel like you have to do everything that all the gurus tell you. They tell you you've got to do this and you have to do that and you have to do all these things. And so you get trapped into the hustle, I call it eating soup with a fork, right? Because every day you're doing all these activities that are taking you nowhere. And when I discovered the combination lock to move myself into harmony. And hopefully you're hearing that harmony, because I wanted harmony so bad, right? So badly. But I thought if I stop hustling, I won't have any money, so I won't have any harmony. Well, what if you could have both? And that's what I advise businesses to do, is to shift from hustle into harmony.
Hmm. That is an amazing shift, not an easy one. I
No.
think there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of attachments that come
Mhm.
along with that. I
Mhm.
know from my own journey, the hustle. I grew up from farmers, right? What did I see? I saw men and women working from before the sun came up
Right.
till after the
Yeah.
sun went down. And guess what I ended up doing? I'm not a farmer,
But you had
but
the same
in my
work ethic.
coaching business and in my writing and my content production and my webinars and seminars and all the things, guess
Yeah.
what I ended up doing? Working
Hustling.
from before the sun came up
Mhm.
and working till
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I still do sometimes. I don't complain about it because I love it, because what would else
Mhm.
I be doing? Watching Netflix, right? And so
Right. Well, if
I
it's a
have things I want to
documentary,
do.
I don't know, if it's a documentary about our country, that might be a good thing, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, because like sometimes we replace that silence with filling it in. But here's the thing, a lot of people say, I have to do something, and you've heard this. We've all heard this, right? Oh no, don't say I have to. You get to. You get to clean your house because you have a house. You get to do laundry because you have laundry. I say I don't. I don't have to, and I don't get to. I choose to, and that's what you were just saying is. I
Mhm.
choose. I choose to work long hours sometimes, but there's the difference.
Right. It's not necessity anymore, or it's not
Correct.
because I feel like, well, you know, that's what the big gurus that I'm following are doing,
Yeah.
so therefore that's what I must do too. And I
Yeah.
I can relate to what you said there, because listening to the and tapes, and yes, they were audio cassette tapes back in the day when we started
Yes.
journey,
With our fingernail in
right?
our yeah, yeah.
I even remember listening to Earl Nightingale on a record,
Yeah,
you know,
crazy. Yeah.
and so for our younger audience, you can go look it up. But and I can relate to what you're saying about, being driven from, I'm going to prove to people that I'm not going to be a certain way. And,
Mhm.
while my reason was different, I used to have a
Yeah.
plaque on my wall that says success is the greatest form of revenge. And it's a
That's kinda
terror,
like it for me. That was like it
right?
for me, yeah.
And I
I
found
love
out it was
that.
a terrible foundation to build a business on,
Right.
but it worked for a while.
Yeah, right. Well, it was funny because you were talking about success just a few minutes ago, and, I learned very early on, thank God. I was around 27, and I wanted a Mont Blanc pen so badly, and at that time, they were, like, $200, right? And that was a lot of money, and everybody had a Mont Blanc pen. That was the definition, that or a Beamer, BMW, right?
Hmm.
Everybody had this Mont Blanc pen, and I couldn't wait to get it, and I got it, and every time I used it, I made sure everybody saw me unscrewing the cap and la, 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 right? And then one day I tried to unscrew it and it wouldn't get done. So I yanked on it in front of a client. I yanked on it and the ink went in my hair. I was blinking it on my eyelashes. It was on my teeth. It was all over me. And in that moment, I was like, this is not success for me. My definition of success is something completely different and I need to find it, right? At that time, I didn't know what it was. So when you see the gurus who are working all these hours and telling you you should work all the hours, that's their definition of success, not yours. So cease and desist right away and find out what it is you want to do. What inspires, not motivates, what inspires you to get up every single day, to bounce out of bed and say, I can't wait to do this.
I love that. I can't wait to do this. And that was a shift that probably took a decade for me, to be
I know it's a
perfectly
long
honest.
shift. Yes.
Well, there's one thing to write goals, right? And so
Yeah.
write
Eh,
goals and future frame and all of that. And, like, for example, now I can wake up at 6 a.m. without an alarm clock.
yeah.
I wrote that down as an affirmation and a goal 20 years ago. And I
Mhm.
remember so frustrated because it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. And then I just realized, wait a minute. It's just, I didn't think about it for a long time. I didn't
Right.
write it down.
Right.
It's just
Of course.
happening. It's almost like the
Yeah.
resistance is gone. So therefore I'm doing it.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
that's how when people find their spouse, right? Like I'm looking for someone, and then you finally give up and you're like, I'm done. I'm never going to get married. And then you meet your spouse just like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sometimes the resistance is and it's really the shift between a limiting belief because the undertone there for you was I didn't really know that I didn't believe that I could wake up at 6. That's why I needed an alarm clock. Right. So that limiting belief into a lifting belief, a belief that lifts you and rises you above whatever that challenge or struggle is. And then when you're higher from it, you can look down on it and say, oh, yeah, that was a mess. That was a
Yeah.
hurricane. Now I don't want to be in there ever again. And it just automatically happens. And that's a habit creating process as well.
That I'm, building on that word struggle, I want to ask you, when
Mhm,
people reach out to you and you're working with them for the very first time, or maybe
mhm,
they're asking you to see, or just inquiring to see if you can help them, what are you
mhm.
hearing from them? What's the struggle? What is it that they're trying to do that they don't seem to be able to do on their own? What
Yeah.
are their words?
Gosh, it's such a great question because I coach my clients on this about the I am statement. It's similar to when I was answering, right? The I am. Because people
Mhm.
will say, well, I work with people who are this, that, and the other. They're small business owners, they're entrepreneurs, they make this kind of money, da 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 da. Talk in their phrases. So if I were to talk this, people would be coming to me for I have 3 different phases of my coaching. So they're coming for a variety of reasons, but they would be saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of having my to-do list go from day to day to year. I never get anything done. I'm so tired of hiring people and they're not fulfilling what I hired them for. I am tired of worrying about money. I am tired of the excuses that I give to my family for why I can't participate in family activities, and it breaks my heart. I'm sick of it. So it's getting to that point where they're, sick of it. They're also saying this was supposed to be temporary, that I worked 60 hours a week. And now 5 years, 7 years later in my business, I'm still working 60 hours a week and then some. I have AI brain fry, right? I've spent over $200,000 on a bunch of shiny object syndromes and I haven't used any of them. I've
Easy
had
to do.
enough. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, tying that back to how you even introduced yourself, not
Mhm.
what you do, but who I am.
Mhm.
And what I just heard you say that you're hearing from them is a lot of I ams that are the opposite of what they want, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am sick and tired of this happening. I
Right.
am frustrated with this.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that, frustration is not what they want, that
No.
feeling like the lack is not what they want.
Mhm.
And so is part of what you're doing then helping them to shift that I am into something more
Yeah.
positive, or is it deeper than that?
Absolutely. Well, and it's deep too. But my motto in my company is to stop working in and on your business so that you can begin living above and beyond your business.
Oh,
So there's a transformation that has to happen when you're in the in stage. That's all about you. That's the me stage. So write all this down. All right. This is the me stage where every decision, everything gets, fulfilled through you. All the marketing, all the funnels you build, all the everything, you. That's me, 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 me. The next phase, when you start working on your business, and this is how I see it differently than what everyone talks about. They're like, don't work in your business, work on. Go to a motivational thing, not an inspirational. Go to a motivational something and it'll take care of you for a couple weeks. It's like getting a fix, but it never changes things. So I thought I don't ever want to be on my business either. But on is the method stage. You're managing the method. You're managing the systems you've created. And the challenge that people have there is that the methods and the systems that they have are in their head and they've never written them down. So when they hire someone who is let's just say social media person, but they don't have a method or a system to guide that person on how they want it to be conducted in their business, they blame them for not being the good hire instead of themselves, meaning you guys listening, instead of blaming yourself, thumb pointing at yourself instead of finger pointing at everybody else. And we need to be blaming ourselves and saying, I didn't prepare them for success. I didn't prepare myself for success. I didn't have an onboarding. I don't have a really good strategy on how to hire because they're frustrated. They've tried and they keep oscillating back and forth. They keep trying and it's just not working. The next phase is a leap of faith, right? We work on leadership, expanding the team, amplifying your influence, and boosting profits. That's where we work above. When you work above, your whole team and you manage your message. And that's how when you go to Starbucks, they say, "What can we start for you?" When you go to McDonald's, they say, can we take or can I take your order?" When you go to Walmart, "Welcome to Walmart." Right? That is voice and that is message that's now been transferred to an empowered team, not a team that's enabled where they need mommy and daddy to help them make every decision. So we move that up into that category, but that requires a lot of soft skills that many of us as entrepreneurs step into entrepreneurville, as I call it. We step into entrepreneurville and we lack those skills. And therefore, it's always going to be an in on business until you're sick of it, until you just want to grow beyond that. Now, some people don't want to grow. They're just like, I'm happy being here, right? And then the beyond is your beyond. That's why your success is your success. Maybe you're selling your company. Maybe you're just physically exiting. Maybe you want to invest. Maybe you want to sleep in. I don't know, but I'm going to help you get there because that's the promised land, right?
Yeah, it's what I'm hearing so often from people who are on this journey. They know that their stuff is good. They know that when they get clients, they can serve them well. They're making money. But what I hear from them constantly is, I feel like I'm playing too small. I feel like, you know,
Interesting.
I feel like there's so much more for me. I feel like I can make a bigger impact. And
Mhm.
and they also cite a lack of consistency, right?
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
have good days, they have bad days, or good months, good years, bad years,
Yeah.
but they lack
Yeah.
the consistency in
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
business. Is
Yeah.
this something that you notice as well, or that you hear from them?
Well, I hear from them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it is the consistency that I'm seeing these days is the shiny object syndrome. I'm going to say it again. It's just, it's an SOS, right? It's a cry for help. Anytime someone's buying some kind of crazy thing that they didn't know they needed, and now they heard they should get it, they buy it. And it's crazy. It's just like, stop doing that because, yeah, you might need it, but not today. So that's why mentorship is so helpful because we can see a year or 2 years ahead of you, 4 months, whatever the number is, we can see, yeah, you will need that eventually, but not today. And so the distraction is what's causing the inconsistency. That's the number one thing. I don't think it's hard, like I'll just work more and that'll work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. And in fact, this is what Les Brown says. He says, if you do what's hard, your life will be easy. If you do what's easy, your life will be hard. And so if you're just putting in the longer hours and thinking that longer hours are going to create more income for you, you're doing what's easy on the surface and making it harder long term. If you flip that and you say, I'm going to focus, do intentional deep work in one specific area, all those things you bought, right? Bringing them in where they need to be. And that one specific area, then you're doing the hard work, not working hard. You're doing the hard work so that life can be easy. So it's the distractions that we're up against all the time for everything that is creating the inconsistency. That's at least what I'm seeing. And then you mentioned something else about inconsistency, and then you said something else, or was something else about that not the
Well, they always
consistency.
feel like there's they're
There's more
they're
for
they're
them.
not, yeah, that they're maybe not living up to what they're
Yeah.
capable of, or they
Yeah.
feel like more is possible, but the
Uh-huh.
more has
Yeah.
eluded them so far,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I have a podcast called Success to Significance: Life After Breaking Through Glass
Hmm.
Ceilings. And one of the things that I see is that we are up against this glass ceiling. And so you imagine, your body is up against this black ceiling and it's getting cut on the back and the whole thing. And you're just like, I can't break through. I can't break through. And you're exhausted and, trying to figure out what that is. And that mushing, I'm going to use that word, the mushing that you're experiencing up against that glass ceiling that's not letting you go out and make the significance and impact that you want in the world is you. It's your personal development. It's not, I don't have this system or that system. It's your personal development and recognizing that you can't be a one man or one lady band. You need help to grow. And so you're pushing up against the resistance of that. And as soon as you have help under you to push you through, watch out, but then be prepared for another set of problems. And that's when my other clients come in.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the things I forget which mentor of mine said it, but, don't wish your problems to go away, because at
Have
every
bigger
new level,
problems.
right. Yes, exactly. Bigger
Just that,
problems,
wish for
get good
bigger
at,
problems.
get it good at solving problems and
Uh-huh.
accept the fact that there's going to be problems at every level. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Yeah. It's that personal soft skill development, because as soon as you hire another person, you are a manager, you are a leader, and you have to develop those skills. And I focus a lot of attention on developing those skills for people. But then later, it's the discernment on where is this delegated? Where should this go? Should I be doing it, et cetera? A lot of a discernment on growth and the operational side of things. And yeah. So, I mean, I could go
mhm.
on tangents on all of this.
It's so easy. We could do a 1-day workshop,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
impromptu with very little plan. I mean, I've
Yeah.
both been teaching for a long time,
Hmm.
so it's easy to do.
It is.
Let me just to direct our audience a little bit in terms, because there's so many options, and what I see people doing is they'll go to an AI and they'll say, how do I make this better? How do I make this easier? And I'm like, stop
Hmm.
doing that. It doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to
Yeah.
make stuff up, but I like to give people some real steps. Like, so if someone is listening in right now and they're resonating with the things that we're saying, what would be the three best things they could do right now? 1, 2, 3, that would at least get them in the right direction. It's not problem solved, but at least eliminate the noise
Uh-huh.
and get focused in a
Yeah. And
particular
so
direction.
is this
And I'm
directed?
oversimplifying, but
Yeah. Is this about AI specifically, or is this
no,
just
I
in
would say
general?
about
Okay.
their journey,
Okay. Yeah.
to make the bigger impact and get to the level they want to, right?
Yeah.
And so,
So I would do first of all, I would do two things, and maybe I'll think of a third one as we get along. But on a piece of paper, write FMG at the top. FMG. Some people write another category, and that's fine, but just to get started. The first is finder, then minder, then grinder. And this gets back to remember the old days where we said, I went to the bathroom and it took me a minute and a half. And then I came back and got a cup of coffee and that took me 30 seconds. And I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to write down the tasks that you're doing every day. So this is priority management, right? Writing down how many times are you talking to a client? When are you doing a podcast? When are you speaking at an event? All the finder activities, the lead generating activities that you do. Next to that, all the minder. So this would be, I wrote a contract and sent it to somebody. I had sent an invoice. I recorded an invoice, right? I coached somebody, all the things that you're doing to fulfill your client requirements. The third category is grinder. I call this my blueprint time. I'm making a PowerPoint. I'm working in, whatever, I don't even know what they are because I don't do them, bookkeeping, whatever the bookkeeping softwares are. But I'm doing the grinding work, right? I'm checking all my emails. I'm responding to emails. I'm doing whatever, the grinding work. And what happens is that you write it down every time you do it. You write it once. So I checked emails. And then if you check it again, you have to do a little Indian hashtag. I checked it. I checked it. I checked it. I checked it all day long as I checked my email. Oh my gosh, right? But it'll help you figure out where you're wasting your time. And I don't mean that from the finder side, but from the minder and grinder, is where am I spending my time and what could I do that I'm going to give you now is what can I stop? What can I start? What can I improve on? What are those three things that I can stop, start, and improve on? You don't need, if you've got, because this happened to me, I have a folder on my website, right? Or not website, but in Google, I have this folder and it has all the things I bought. All the systems, it's only $27. And I upgraded to $297. And then I went to a master class, but I didn't go to the master class, but I didn't get the recording either. Or maybe I have the recording. It's like all those things, all of these courses that you have up there, right? Is what should I stop worrying about right now? Today, because your future is a series of nows. So if you're constantly going, but I have all those things and I need to be doing them and they're distracting you, let's go. Let them go, right? I call let go to grow. Just let them go. Let them go. Don't delete them. Let them go. It's a process of elimination so that we can see clearly what our next step is. You won't know what your next step is. That's why I'm having a hard time answering this question because
mhm.
everyone's next step is different. First, we have to clean the kitchen before we can cook the dinner. I don't know where that one came from. That's a new one.
was
But,
pretty good.
I mean, I'm like that. I'm like, I gotta clean the kitchen before that I can cook the dinner. So, we need to eliminate what should I stop doing or worrying about, and what should I start doing and thinking about? So those are the two things. The third thing that I would say right off the bat is, since you brought up AI, is don't rely on AI for everything. There's something I learned. I'm a certified mastermind leader, and I learned this a while ago. There's opinion and advice which we get from our family members who have never done a podcast, and they're wondering, why are you on a podcast? That's so stupid. Right. But that's opinion and advice. And then there's counsel. Right. And so when you go to the beach and you dig into the sand, some of the sand is going to run through your fingers. Even what you're hearing today, some of this will run you, some of you may not even do find or mind or grind. You go, that's stupid. I'm not going to do it. That's fine. The sand goes through, but then there's some sand that you keep, right? And that's counsel. That's from someone who has the experience, right? The experience and can give it to you. So when you ask AI, be a researcher and go search the web. How do you know that one of the places they went was in Susie Q, who just hit open my website today and has her opinion listed there, and Chad has brought it in, and you take it as counsel? Discernment is the biggest word in my coaching. Discernment. You have to discern what's real and what isn't, what aligns with you and what doesn't. So I used to say this all the time: slow down so you can speed up instead of speeding up to slow down. This is the hard work. This is the stepping back. This is printing your bank statements and going through them, as hard as it might be. But and I learned this from Sharon Lecter. She said, print your bank statements on a quarterly basis. You'll be surprised. And boy, was I surprised. Right. And now I do it every quarter to find out that one thing I bought that has turned into something that I don't get an email about, to charge it, and I don't want to look at my bank statement. Oh my gosh, right? So it's all about the internal, looking inside, not looking outside. You don't need any more coaches. You don't need any more of that stuff. I say that as a coach, right? But you need the right coach who can help you with the sequencing and help you dissect that. Otherwise, it's just it's internal work. All of this is internal work. Your bottom line will increase when you do inside work.
Yeah, we've seen it before where you can take two people, you can give them the exact same systems, the exact same tools. One will succeed triumphantly and the other one will fail or get stuck at
Give
the
up.
starting line.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. And give up. Saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'll never try that again. That didn't work."
Right.
Right. And so, in 30 years of doing personal development stuff and seminars and,
Yeah.
working with gurus, I've seen so many examples of both. I have been an example of both.
Myself
And
too. Yeah.
right. And so I think we're all on that journey. Man, I could just talk about this all day long, and we're going to run out of time. But this has resonated. I know for a fact this resonates with our audience.
Mhm.
We've surveyed our audience. We've had conversations with them. We know that this is for the struggle. I want to give people an opportunity to connect with you and learn more from you. And I know you have a lot of great resources. What's one that we could share with them right now that would be a great next step in learning from you, could help them on their journey, but also gives them a way to connect with you?
Yeah. Well, I have two, but I'm not going to confuse everybody. I would say the business gap map. That's going to be number one. It is the first assessment that I give to my clients for them to determine what are the gaps that I have in my business. Now, here's the thing about the assessment that you're going to get and why you want to get this assessment. A lot of times assessments will rank you from 1 to 10, and you put 1 on everything instead of 10, and so you're ranked 10 out of 100, and you just feel horrible about yourself, and it's too big, and so you take no action. What I've done is I've made this assessment easier, first of all, easier to understand, 1 through 9, because what is 7? What's 3? I don't get it. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, right? It's just much easier. I know. I don't do it, do it. Kind of do it, kind of do it, and kind of do it less. So I made the assessment, but now here's the other part. And what's so key about this is if you're a 1 in social media and you want to be a 3, that's your gap. Who told you you have to be a 10? Nobody. You just think that, right? If you're a 5 in an area and you want to stay a 5, you're perfect. There is no gap. So I want you to, when you get this, to think about that and say, I don't need to be the top level. I need to be the level that works for me. And then the smallest gap sometimes is the hardest one to do because it needs so much work. Sometimes it's not. So discerning which gaps do I go through is super helpful. And I'll be there with you along the path anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, to make it easier for you to get that from Jen, just look beneath this video. I put the link to that resource right there. If you happen to be listening to this on a podcast, just open up your phone, whatever player you're on, the links are all there right there as well. And if you, of course, if you subscribe to our show, we email this all out to everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds amazing. And it is definitely a first step. Identify those gaps. I love what you just said. Who told you you needed to be a 10? I've actually done assessments where you assume like, oh, I must be at the top level. But
Yeah.
it's like, no, what you're here, where do you want to be? Right.
Mhm.
In terms of
Mhm.
that. And I love that.
Yeah.
It's, so, you eliminate so much frustration. You eliminate so much wasted effort
Well,
when you
and
look at it
giving
that
up,
way.
right? And the giving
Right.
up. It's like, I'll never get there, so I'm just not gonna worry about it.
Right.
I'm a 1 and I wanna be a 3. I'm a 3 and I wanna be a 7. It's up to you. That's why it's so important that's why I don't believe in motivation. I believe in inspiration.
Yes.
I can motivate you, "Go be a 10, go be a 10," but I'm gonna really inspire you to be what you wanna be.
Yeah.
That's your definition of success, not mine.
And that's where ultimate joy and fulfillment in life is going to come from, is when you're
Absolutely.
being what you want to be, right?
Yeah,
Or who you want to be.
yeah,
So I love it.
yeah.
Jen, this is great. I mean, I could do a part 2 and a part 3. And I know there's so many things that we could do. We'll definitely have you back again. We've got events coming up. Maybe we'll come have you speak in one of our events. So I want to thank you so much for everything that you shared. Your
Yeah,
advice,
thank you.
I resonate with it. I
Counsel,
mean, and with
counsel.
our audience, right?
Yeah. Counsel, counsel,
R- right.
not advice, counsel.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. Yes,
Yeah,
counsel.
counsel.
That definitions matter, and
They do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well,
And
thank
so
you. Thank you
yeah.
for having me. It's always fun to, share what I'm doing and what other people are doing. And, I just encourage all of you that are listening to give a great 5-star rating to Chuck and
Aw.
write a big review for him as well. That keeps us going and keeps us, wanting to give and serve to everybody. So take the chance. You'd want it, so do it.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
helps us make a bigger impact, and if
it
we've
does.
impacted you today, that could really really help. And who
Yeah.
knows who that'll help us reach. So could save a life.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
to
you.
you, Jen. Thank you to our audience. And then before we sign off, I just want to ask you if you have a favorite quote or piece of advice
I do.
that you like to leave our audience with here today.
Yeah. I always end with this quote. My mom, I found out it actually belongs to somebody. Her name is Eleanor. I'll send the information to you so people can do it. But I thought it was my mom's quote. It is, we flatter those we scarcely know. We please the fleeting guests, but we deal many a thoughtless blow to those we love the best. So thinking of your family, thinking of your business, be as kind to yourself and to your family as you are to your business. It is a fleeting guest. It's not the most important thing.
Hmm. Beautiful words to end this episode by. Jen, thank you so, so, so much. To our audience, thank you as well. And if you are listening to my voice right now, this means this episode resonated with you. And I want you to do a couple of things. One is I want you to write down something that you were reminded of or you learned today, and write that down. And I want you to take action towards that thing today. That's the first thing. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to go beneath this video and click the link and go and connect with Jen, because she's got a great resource there and you can learn so much from her. And then I want you to come back. I want you to message me and tell me, like, how has your business changed? How has your life changed? How are you making a big impact? And maybe we'll have you come on the show and share your story and how you can help others make a big impact. And I'll leave you with this. And remember that the only way to fail is to quit. There's no challenge too big to be overcome. There's always a solution. So always keep moving forward, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you.